Yeah, I feel like this week was more stuff, but all of the stuff didn't take nearly as long as last week.
Yeah.
So it went
For
quick.
the most part, I have one dungeon that can go die, but aside from that, yeah, we'll get to it.
Yeah. Was it the Lost Woods?
Oh, actually, yes, that one. Okay, I have 2 dungeons that can go die.
So the other one must be the holes. Falling through the holes dungeon. Yeah,
Yes.
I got to the end of it and accidentally went to the easy way to get out when I was trying to push the rock, so I had to do the dungeon twice.
As soon as I finished it, I posted in the group chat, everyone, as soon as you get to the place with the 2 rocks, save immediately for the love of God, and that's why.
Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I am Sam Allman.
I am Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
I'm Maddie Grace Webben.
And I am Nega Sam, still here to terrorize all of you fools.
No, it's true.
Until I eventually defeat and replace Sam.
There can be only one.
One day, Sam's just going to be like, welcome to RPG Book Club. My name's Sam. And he'll just sound a little different. And that'll be it.
And none of you will remember my existence by that point, so it'll just kind of feel like nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
And today we'll be playing part 4 of Lunar, the Silver Star, for the Sega CD, etc. But before we talk to... I guess I should say what we're covering up to. We're just covering up to completing the Black Dragon Lair, which I had just picked because I'm like, we've done 2 dragons, let's do 2 more. But it's actually like a big old plot twist, so serendipity, real cool. But before we talk about all of that shit, how was everybody's week?
I calculated it out with my mom. This week lasted approximately plus the last few years lasted approximately 46 years.
Approximately, yeah.
Yeah. Because, it's the week itself was 4 years long, and then there were the 4 years prior, but they were metric years, so you have to double it and then add 30. So it would be 16 plus 30, which brings us to 46.
Nice.
Thank you, Mom, for your math. Yeah, it was a long 46 years, but it's over, and I feel relief and like I can breathe, and it's kind of incredible. I haven't felt so relieved in a long time. Granted, there are still problems, and there will be problems for a long, long time because of the last 4 years, and because of everything else in our nation's history that's fucked up. But
you were talking about how the Digidestin took down Devimon in the reboot this week, right? We're talking about the same thing here.
yes, yeah, exactly.
So relieved.
Because I know Digimon. Digimon, gotta catch 'em all. That's how it goes, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a week, but that week is over. One of my close friends had another social implosion, so that's
keeps
great.
happening.
I think you guys shouldn't be filling yourselves up with warm air and then shoving yourself into a deep freeze so that you implode a lot. I think it's bad for you.
You're
It really is.
right. That's definitely our fault there. So I'm very angry about that, about the person who hurt my friend. But it's all impotent rage. I can do literally nothing about it. So that's great. Otherwise, everything's fine, I guess.
Nice. I had a dope-ass week for pretty similar reasons to Eli, but also other reasons. I think I said this, like, ever since we hit October, things just been great for me, I think. Not just personally, but for the world and the nation, I think. I think shit's good. Not like good, but things aren't good, but like I feel good. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. The week itself was really fun. I got to spend a whole day. I got to take a day off from dunking on Democrats, and I got to dunk on the Republicans for a whole 24 hours. It was great.
Yeah.
And now I'm back to dunking on Democrats. But it was nice to have a change of pace. We all got to come together and put aside our differences to make fun of the big orange man. And that was nice. Turns out that Joe Biden did. Well, Joe Biden didn't do much of anything except not be dead. Turns out the Democrats did bring
He
people
did great
together
at not being dead
for 24 entire hours of collaborative dunking. I've also been enjoying seeing how all the 4chan people have either gotten completely doomer pilled and decided to like give up and become SJWs now because clearly they've lost, or they've decided that like they only ever like Donald as like an irony thing, which frankly they probably did only like him as an irony thing. A lot of them are being like, the SJWs have won, so we all have to transition and be girls now. And it's like, yeah, sure, take your estrogen pills, bitch. Drink that soy. I don't know what's going on over there. I find it very funny. But yeah, no, it's also my organization, the Democratic Socialists of America, had a goal to get 5,000 people to join our organization in the last week, and we just hit 10,000.
Oh, nice.
Damn.
Literally doubled our goal. We now have 80,000 members, which means that we are the third largest socialist organization in the history of the United States.
Nice.
Well on our way to being the largest in the history of the United States. Probably are going to pass that milestone in the next couple months, I bet, if things keep going the way they're going. Combine that with lots of very interesting down-ballot victories, also a couple very heartbreaking defeats that I won't go into. And just, I don't know. I know I'm a naturally hopeful person, but I'm looking forward to dealing with the new set of problems that we'll have in the next 4 years. Always nice to have a change of pace. Always nice to replace old problems with new problems. That's my opinion. Although there is one annoying thing about my life, which is that this is the week I'm supposed to be learning whether or not I got this job. I mean, like, theoretically speaking, I'm supposed to be hearing back around now-ish. So over the last, 8 hours, my gut has just been completely twisted into a knot. I'd been kind of ignoring the anxiety for a few weeks because I knew it wasn't, going to happen anytime soon. I knew I was just waiting. But now that it's no, you are going to probably learn this week, I'm just every day, I'm just did they give it to someone else? Are they ghosting me? How come they haven't given it to me yet? How come my boss hasn't mentioned anything about being called as a reference? Because that would have happened if they had done that. Maybe my boss will mention it tomorrow. Who knows? And say, yo, what the fuck? I didn't realize you were applying for other jobs. And I'd be like, yeah. But anyway, basically, now that it's imminent, I'm just complete knots in my stomach, and it's not going to go away. It's been getting worse and worse and worse over the last 3 hours. So just send fucking energy, not just energy that I get the job, but energy that I can just deal with the stupid anxiety. Because if I don't find out till even if I do get it, what if I don't find out till Friday? I'm not even I don't know if I'm gonna make it to Friday. No, I'm exaggerating to an extent, of course, but yeah. Oh yeah, speaking of job. Last Tuesday, I was out canvassing all day for my Javanka Beckles for the AC Transit Board, who won. She smoked her competition, feeling really good about that. Three-way race, she got 49% of the vote. Pretty amazing race. Anyway, I was walking home. I was walking to the BART station after doing a half day of canvassing to go back home and go to work. And I stopped by a bodega, and while I was in the bodega, I got an email that I have yet another job interview for a different job.
Oh, shit.
So I do have 2 different jobs I'm in the running for now, which is nice. So theoretically, if I don't get the one I'm stressing about today, maybe I'll get this one in 3 weeks. However, I'm still stressing about it. So that's pretty much it for me.
That's understandable and reasonable.
Yep, I'm mostly in a great mood and having a good time and loving the new cold weather and loving some of the late recent good news and having a good time with my homies. But good lord, I want this job hunt process to be over. So that's my week.
Yes.
Job hunting's the worst.
It sucks so much.
My week was real cool because my black daughter got to see a black woman be raised to the vice president, and that was really cool. Later, I'll tell her that this is a bad one, and she should
Yeah, but she's too young to understand that right now.
Yeah,
just let her be happy.
Yes, so that was real cool. But the main thing that I did all week is so you know how in ADHD you have like a waiting mode where like if you happen to get ready for a thing too early, you're then stuck waiting.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can't do anything.
Yep.
Yeah. So my waiting mode started at 7 p.m. Central on Tuesday. And didn't end until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday. So what I did is, you know how you can, there's 2 ways to buy perler beads. You can pay out the wazoo and get like already sorted bags of like 1,000 of the same color, or you can pay $6 and just get like 10,000 dumped into an unsorted awful mess. I sorted all of my perler beads this week.
Oh man, I've done that.
Yeah, I have them all in baby food jars because we also were trying to find a way to recycle all these baby food jars. So, yeah, that's what I did this week, and it was great. But
my waiting period was filled with cleaning my keyboard, and then I apparently cleaned it too well, and it didn't want to work afterwards.
Whoops.
And spent the next few days freaking out because the keyboard that I have is perfect and nobody makes it anymore.
Yikes.
And I was going to be really upset, but I have an amazing husband who knows how to fix computer things. And he fixed it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, my week was, I mean, it seems like the main event of all our weeks is pretty much the same. It was
Digimon.
Election night. Yes, exactly. Now, election night was fun because my partner copes by sort of ignoring it, and so I went along with that and helped her get some new stuff in Apex Legends. So that was fun. And then I cope by being angry about things. So I got together with a close friend who's in our COVID bubble, and we got drunk and yelled at the screen whenever Mitch McConnell was mentioned. So
that sounds like a great time.
It was pretty great, actually. Yes, it was a very good way of coping with it. And then I just had days of having no idea how anything would turn out, and then everything was good. So not that everything is fixed. That's already been established. I don't need to rehash that. But, point being...
It's not as awful.
Yeah, and it feels like maybe things can become less awful eventually.
Things getting literally 1% better is, frankly, at this point, something to be happy about.
Yeah.
Seriously, I haven't felt hope in so long. I don't know, what is this?
I referred to it the other day where it's not like we have good people in the Oval Office now, but we have people that are people and understand about saving face. So when everybody shows up to their doorstep and is like, hey, we need to fix this, they will address it instead of just not even talking about it.
Democrats are to an extent much more predictable than Republicans, especially, at least Trump is. Trump-style Republicans, It's like, I mean, for me, the last... not so much. No, even starting Tuesday night, me and some of my comrades were in a Zoom call where we were like, basically, we didn't even wait for the day to be over to be like, all right, strategy meeting. What does this mean?
Mm-hmm.
Pros, cons.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do? Game plan.
Yeah.
What's this? What does advancing the interests of working class politics in this country look like in this under this playing field? And then I just did that for the next 3 days. And it's nice it feels good to be making a plan, even if I'm a dork. I like meetings, and I like talking, and I like reading, and I like figuring things out. So it's cool to have a new terrain to be talking about and a new situation to be dealing with. You know what I mean? Especially when the situation is like in some ways more advantageous than the previous situation, such as like having a better NLRB, having an NLRB that at least nominally tries to look like it's doing its job, will be a really big deal going forward, especially as someone who, fingers crossed, will hopefully be in a union in a couple weeks, depending on how things go. So yeah.
The thing that stuck with me a long time ago was some random tweet I saw that said something about how voting isn't about picking your player, it's about choosing your opponent. You need to pick the one who you are the most capable, so who you will be most capable of pressuring to do the right thing. And on that front, Democrats and Republicans, as far as I'm concerned, are pretty much night and day. So like, that's I'm excited for things to not be quite so shitty. And then I finally finished Crash Bandicoot 4, which was an absolute delight. That was a lot of fun.
So bad.
And then just today I found out that a coworker might have been exposed to COVID. So,
oh jeez, it's been a roller coaster of a week for you.
Yeah. That we'll see how that goes, I guess. But you know,
have you been tested yourself yet?
I haven't.
With that?
No. I mean, like I just found out about it today, and even then, that's just like she might have been exposed. I don't know if...
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, she's gotten tested, but, you know, since the fast tests are only available on, like, specific, intense, important situations, I doubt she's going to be able to get that. So, like, you know, we'll see. I'm probably going to have to wait a while before I find out, because this garbage country messed everything up real bad. So...
You know what? It's probably fine. All you can do is tell yourself it's probably fine, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a couple potential scares, and none of them have turned out. So, you know,
same.
Like, it's probably fine. Just, you know, that there's this underlying like anxiety about COVID ever since it started has just been a thing, and I hate it.
Yep.
So
I also want to say real quick, my favorite tweet of the week was someone tweeted out a picture of all the different drug initiatives that were passed in the various states that have them, and it said, "I'd like to congratulate drugs for winning the war on drugs," which is very accurate.
Oh, also because later, like I feel this will get lost to time, and I want it to be preserved on this podcast. So in 15 years, when you're like, "Oh, Lunar's my favorite," I'll go back and listen to the Lunar. You'll know this. So Trump's campaign was denied access to the Four Seasons Hotel in Philadelphia. So instead, they had a press conference at Four Seasons Total Landscaping, a landscaping place in a fucking strip mall next to a dildo store. And it's the best thing that has ever happened in the history of politics.
Between a dildo store and a crematorium.
Yup.
Yeah, no,
which was the source of my favorite tweet. Just that since it's between a dildo store and a crematorium, Trump can very easily go fuck himself and die.
Also, though, when Trump was golfing when all the news agencies finally started calling the election. And he got into his car, and he was driving past a crowd of people, and they all started loudly booing him. And it makes me think of the Simpsons episode with the tall man in the small car, where he's like, wave to the people. I forgot to mention that. The reason why this week was so good, I'll say hold that thought. The reason why this week was so good, because that's the thing. Okay, I'm glad it went down the way it went. First of all, I'm actually glad that the Democrats kind of got completely fucking owned and barely won, because that makes them look like idiots, which they are. If they had kicked total butt, frankly, that would be kind of difficult, because then they'd be like, see, that shows that we were right, and us being crappy, basically Republicans now is actually good. But now it's like, no, y'all barely didn't. Y'all literally got by the skin of your teeth, right? But also, I spent most of Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday being kind of bummed out, and like, sure, Trump probably loses, but I am kind of depressed about the fact that that Biden is as good as we could get, and that this is going to be a huge problem, and being overwhelmed by the problems. But the thing is, so like, if Trump had officially lost on like Wednesday, it wouldn't have been that fun of a day for me. But since I had Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to like process and deal, then by the time Saturday happened, I was like ready to just laugh and have a good time. And then, as you said, the whole Four Seasons thing is like the funniest thing that could possibly have happened.
It was so fucking funny.
And also just the fact that I think that Biden got the lead in Pennsylvania and Georgia in like early on Friday. So it was like 24 hours, everyone just being like, call the damn race already, and being annoyed that it was dragging on, and Trump getting more and more mad. And personally, I think it should have dragged on for another week because I thought it was hilarious. So like the whole saga of the Trump presidency ended in the stupidest, most mind-numbingly idiotic possible way. And to me, that's the best thing that could have happened, right? It's like, what's more fitting than just the stupidest shit imaginable? So that's my take. That's my take.
Only thing I want to add before we start talking about Lunar is while he was driving past all those people who were booing him, a lot of photographers got pictures of his face, and he's on the phone with someone and just looks like someone's chatting his cereal, and it's just great to see the look on his face of like being so pissy that they took away his toy, and the toy is a giant ass country with a lot of power around the world that it should be no one's toy.
I've also seen pictures of him walking around just looking sad as hell, and it gives me such life.
Yeah, and it's like, you know what? Just for a brief amount of time, let's just forget the fact that America is a shithole. Let's forget about all the systemic issues that the Biden presidency, frankly, seems like they don't even care about fixing. And let's all just, you know what? Let's not think about that and just appreciate that a guy who sucks is sad. We can all appreciate that a guy who sucks is sad. You know what I mean? And it feels good when that happens.
Honestly, I hope it continues because I will never, ever get tired of that after these 4 years, man.
It's great. It's great.
It's hilarious, too, knowing that his wife has been trying to get him to concede.
Oh, yeah, and really? Jared Kushner. I haven't heard that. Jared Kushner has been like, Dad, Kushner, please concede for the love of Christ. Of course, so Trump hates Kushner, so why would he listen to him? He hates all of his sons.
I was going to say, I'm not convinced he likes anyone in his family, but I don't know.
No, he hates them all so much.
I don't want like all of the legal proceedings that we're about to have. I don't want it to become year 2000 and it'd be like this big, actually dramatic thing and all that stuff. And I'm not looking forward to it for that reason. But a lot of people have started being like, yeah, there's no way we're going to win a legal battle in the 7 states required for us to actually win this thing.
Yeah.
It's like, so a lot of people are backing off from it. So I hope like every single one of these legal battles just get like laughed out of court and just make Trump even more upset. So we get more sad pictures of Trump in this last 3 months we have.
I gotta say that was my
leave. Yeah, because I really want to see him get dragged out of there.
Totally. I gotta say, that wasn't my exact prediction. People were like, oh, what about all these things he could do with like a coup with the counting? And my prediction all along was like, I just don't think everyone else in the party has it in them to do it. I think that Trump is going to tweet and he's going to yell and he's going to scream, but I kind of see everyone else just being like, come on, man.
McConnell backed him up today, though. McConnell was all like, oh, he's perfectly within his rights to contest this, and I support him. But, you know, of course he is.
Yeah, but so far I think I have been proven right that most people just seem to be like, whatever, man. And even like the governors of like, or like the people in charge of like counting the votes in all the states he's yelling about are like, no, we're not gonna stop, dude. Come on. Which is kind of what I was just like, he's all bark no bite, honestly, in a lot of ways. And this is one of the situations. And sometimes being bark can be a big deal because sometimes when Trump tweets something, that itself is terrible and can cause problems. But in this case, it's like, look, if the rest of the Republicans and like the military don't want to do it, then it's not going to happen. And I don't think they really care, frankly.
Yeah,
especially since they have the Supreme Court and the Senate. It's like, sure, we can have Biden presidency. He's basically Republican anyway. No big deal.
Yeah. I know I said one final thing, but you mentioning that you don't think everybody has them, and I'm reminding me of my favorite thing that has happened this week, and it's conservative TikTok. Like, conservative TikTok is already
Yes.
like the worst fucking content on the world. It's a lot of people that like. There's so many times where it's like, oh, and you think that a Trump supporter can't be cute, and then it's some like ugly girl, like just full of herself, and it's like so easy to dunk on constantly. But the trend this week is to take this honestly like really weird, creepy 9/11 song and using that as the sound for all of them saying that like Biden's COVID vaccine is going to be the mark of the beast, and they're all going to be, or they would rather die and be welcome to heaven in open arms than to take Biden's vaccine. And it is a hoot. It is a great time for dunking on people in TikTok, and I highly recommend just surfing and having a blast. Speaking of having a blast, let's talk about Lunar, the Silver Star for the Sega CD,
yeah.
Is that what this podcast is about?
Don't worry, we only have 4.5 pages of notes this time around.
Yeah. Anywho, Maddie, what happened this week?
All right, nerds. So when we last left our heroes was Alex, Kyle, Mia, Nash, and the ever-wonderful Jessica. No, I won't stop talking about this. We had just visited the Red Dragon and gotten the Red Dragon whatever. Shield? Helmet?
Yes,
I think it was
shield.
It was shield.
Whatever. If you
The
recall,
helmet comes from the blue dragon.
whatever. It doesn't matter. Also, like, I did figure this out by the time I finished writing the notes, but I wasn't going to go back and change it because it's funny. If you recall from last week, the bridge at Myriad was broken, but now it's fixed because time has passed. We explore the other side of Myriad, aka a weapon shop and a few NPCs, and cross to the other side of the Great River into a New World map area. We get ever closer to, quote, the frontier. We pass another hot spring, and this time it's just for the ladies. It's cute. Mia and Jessica are both beautiful, and also Mia splashes Null in the face, and he hates it. We pass another one of those big teleporter thingies, but it doesn't work because it doesn't have its magic spring water. And this is every time we go to the big teleporter thingy. It's not working. Anyway, as we pass farther into the continent, the land gets rougher and more chaotic. Lots of craggy mountains and caves rivers and swamps. I don't know why I said the word cave. It's not what I had written down. We pass a big watery area that we can't continue through. We go past it into the city of Lighton, where everyone sings. That's not good for them. We learn that the most beautiful singer, another young girl, has been, yep, that's right, kidnapped. We also start here to learn of the Black Dragon. Apparently, back in the day of Dine, one of the 4 dragons, the Black Dragon, went crazy and started attacking everyone and destroying the land. The land is still scarred with deep ravines and barren wastes, so that explains why it is the way it is. An NPC tells us that she had a dream that one day we would come and find the cave, or one day a hero would come and find the cave to the Blue Dragon behind a waterfall. Okay. The cave to the Blue Dragon 2007 behind a waterfall. Okay. Another NPC, the head magician, said that he had a dream that a boy named Alex with green eyes would visit. We can be like, cool, I don't know who that is. Or we can be like, I'm Alex. And he says, cool. He lifts the curse. I should have mentioned this curse earlier, but frankly, it was kind of badly explained in the game anyway. So there's a curse placed on the river nearby that makes it overflow. And it's a big problem that the river's so overflowing. But but turns out the river was placed on purpose by the elder of the town to protect the town from like enemies, because if the enemies can't get past the river, they can't come attack the town. So yeah, so it's not really a curse, I guess. I don't know. So we talk to the guy and he lifts the curse on the river. So now we can go back to that swampy river area I mentioned earlier. The waters have receded to manageable levels, and we can go to the Blue Dragon Cave. We go through the Blue Dragon Cave. The Blue Dragon.
Stop you.
Hold on. We go through the cave of the Blue Dragon, 2006, and get the helmet of Blue Dragon, parentheses 2006. Okay, what?
So, no swampy area, no river. Mm-hmm. It's actually really fucking cool. And this so far, you describing it as bullet points because it was kind of no big deal. Makes me really love ours because it's such a cool deal. So we make our way to the second half of the continent, and Enlighten is the first thing we get to pick. So we click over onto Lighten, and you get there, and there are two background music tracks playing. One is like an industrial, like 9 Inch Nails ass bass beat, and the other one is this like super cool like fluty thing, and they do not mesh whatsoever.
That's cool.
It sounds god awful.
And so you talk to everyone, and they're like, "Hey, so normally we would love for you to come and hang out with us here because our town has naturally music from all of the wind blowing through all of the caves, but
it's awful.
It's awful now. Something is the matter. We think it's all of the monsters over in this cave. Can you go and take a look at that?" They also mentioned
Trent here, and now this is happening.
Yes. And also this guy named Sonny. He told us to call him Skrillex. It's weird, but so they're like, go over to this cave, and this is the cave that sucks. And
it is the cave that sucks.
You have to purposely fall through the certain holes to make your way forward, and there are some holes that will like shoot you back up, and so it's kind of like a teleporter maze. But the thing that sucks is you were told to go in there and kill all of the monsters, yet all of the monsters respawn. So it's not a bloodlock where you have to go and kill them all, but you it makes it twice as annoying when you fuck up and you have to go back to the very beginning, and you have to go back to the very beginning a lot. So it's this long, complicated, annoying dungeon, but you get to the final room, and there are these 2 rocks and 4 holes, and you have to plug up the right ones. And as you plug up some of them, parts of the baseline will get filtered, so you plug them into the right ones, so the Trent Reznor baseline is gone, and it's just the cool fluty music.
Hell yeah. I love
and it's
Half-Life 2 episode 1 parentheses 2005.
Yes.
6.
But
I do have to say, I'm starting to wonder if maybe I just like super missed something or something, because I did not hear the weird bad bass line. I just heard the weird super upbeat fluty music, and then after they changed it, I was like, man, that seems like a missed opportunity. They should have changed the music between.
Really? Because it sounded god awful beforehand.
Glitch.
The Vita speakers are pretty bad. So if you didn't have it on full blast, you probably physically could not hear the bass line.
Maybe. Weird. Okay.
Yeah. But so you come out and they're like, awesome, you fixed it just in time for the festival. In the festival, two people profess their love for each other and sing a song to each other, and that makes the Blue Dragon Temple, rise out of the water for the duration of the festival. So you go up there, and since your party is 6 people and 3 couples, first Kyle and Jessica go up there, and neither of them can really sing, and it sounds horrible. And so they're like, they have a cute little aside as Jessica's like, oh, just because you don't love me enough, and Kyle's like, what do you even mean? I'm a man, I don't understand women. And so then Nash and Mia go up there, and Mia is like, oh no, I can't sing, it's so embarrassing, blah blah blah. And then she sings fine, but Nash can't fucking sing for shit, and so it doesn't work for them. And they're like, well, what the fuck will we do? Because we only have Alex, we don't have Luna. So Alex plays his ocarina, and the love of magic in space and time carries the sound to wherever the Vile tribe are. So Luna starts singing in a way that mimics the goddess's song at the very, very beginning. And they like their ocarina and her song like mesh across space and time and rises the blue dragon cave out of the water. And then we go through a shitty teleporter maze and we talk to the blue dragon and we get the shield or whatever, and we fucking get out of there. But
that is dope.
It's really cool.
It was very cool. I loved that scene.
Also, smart little thing of them to do to remind us that Nash and Mia are kind of dating at this point, because we get the blue dragon helmet. Oh no, but then Zenobia shows up. She calls us Dragon Boy a bunch. It's kind of horny. And then she says, Nash, get over here. Nash takes the helmet and goes to join her. What the fuck? He calls her mistress.
Wait, what?
And she says, great undercover work. No, what a motherfucker. It turns out Nash was bad all along.
Okay, did your game just spoil our game? Because that... Okay.
Has not happened.
Yeah,
Probably not. Probably
Come
not.
on.
Probably not. Wait a couple more paragraphs.
Okay.
So, now he's gone, and we leave. I guess we just keep going to the next town? It's called Tamer, and as it is... Oh, actually... This wasn't the one you called the Cowboy Town, was it?
It's
no.
before the Cowboy Town.
It is where we meet the Cowboys, but the Cowboy Town is the next one. It's PAL.
So over in 1993, it is kind of a cowboy town. We learned that near here is a land called the Prairie, and the people there are very devout in their worship of Althena, despite being very close to the frontier and the Vile tribes. This infuriates Galleon. He's been punishing them. Not only is the place riddled with monsters, it's also suffering from a deadly pandemic. That sucks. We meet two important new characters. They're Tempest and Fresca, and they're both very cool. They're from the aforementioned Plains tribe, and they have come here to find strong warriors. We fight them in a cutscene, and Tempest says we're the second strongest dude he's ever fought, right behind Laika. Frisco says that they need strong warriors to protect their town, but they don't ask us to come with them. Not sure why. We continue to explore, and Laika is here. He says eventually we're going to need to go to Althena's tower to become a Dragon Master. In order to do that, we're going to need a flying machine. He knows a guy, the inventor Might. He can show us the way to Might's tower, except Might hates visitors. We learn that this is actually because he smells really, really bad. He's got a gland problem. Anyway, we leave our other party members behind and go to the tower with Laika by himself, who is great. One more second. Actually, no, that's a good place to pause. Yeah, what's up?
So, we are making our way through Tamer Pass on our way to Tamer, and the Vile tribe shows up, and they summon a bunch of monsters, and I'm like, aha, I have been saving my limit breaks, so I take them all down in one turn.
And
so
I'm
then
like,
they summon...
what's a limit break?
I know. I'm so sorry. But then they summon them back again, and I'm like, oh, was I supposed to die? But then I still killed them, really easy. And then they summon them back again, this time with more. And I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to be doing here? And then arrows fly down off the canyon wall and hit the Vile tribe in the back of the head. And they are like, oh shit, fuck you. We'll come back another day or whatever. And they fucking leave. And we see a hot man and a hot woman on horses that don't say anything. They just get an anime FMV of them standing up and being hot. And we're like, who the fuck are these people? So we leave and go to Tamer, where we run into Laika and go off and do the thing. And then we don't fight Tempest and Fresca yet until after we come back from Might's tower, I believe. It doesn't really matter if it's there or not, but yeah, we get their introduction to them. They never are searching for strong people. They have a beef with Alex. Because there's a guy that sold fake medicine, and Alex is like, and they're about to kill him. Like they're actually in the process of hanging him. He's hanging by his neck until he dies. And Alex runs up and cuts the man down. And they're like, we thought you were a warrior. Why are you like, you're fighting the Vile tribe? They're our enemy. We thought you were cool. Why are you letting this person go free? And Alex is like, you don't have to kill people to be a warrior. And they're like, then prove it in battle. And so we fight them. And Tempest is like, you know what? You're fucking cool. Here's my keepsake. And that keepsake happened to be the Black Dragon pendant. Don't know if that comes up with what you're doing later. But from then we go with Leica and make our way to Might's Tower. Or we do it after we come back. I forget the order.
Also, can I just say, Tempest looks exactly like Alex? For me, at least. Honestly, when I saw him, I was like, what is... This like another Alex from another timeline or something? What's happening here?
Not in mine. Not in mine. He looks. I guess he does have a similar color
they have,
scheme,
like,
but
identical
not that
faces.
Close.
Like,
yeah, their faces are the same. It's like, what if Alex had a Jedi braid and that's Tempest in our game?
Much. Yeah.
Your faces are the same. Anyway. Might's Tower is, in my game, a really good dungeon. It also involves falling through holes on purpose, but it's good. It doesn't suck. It's all pipes and stuff. It's kind of like a sewer dungeon, but like if the sewer pipes you're going through them and falling down them. Basically, there's all these holes where it's literally just like you can see the hole and the pipe leads down to the previous level, but you can see it. Like you can see the pipe. And what you end up having to do is pretty much every single hole is just like, don't fall in it, dude, like obviously. So it's just a dead end. You just don't fall in the hole, right? But there is one hole that you do have to fall in because it leads you to a place where you couldn't get before. But it's really not that hard. Like I kind of just intuited it and was like, I hope this is the right one. And it was. So I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Our Might's Tower is Flying Battery Zone, Act 1 from Sonic & Knuckles.
Oh, hell yeah.
And it's mostly just go through all the pipes, because we have pipes as well, but you find switches and you turn the switches on and the elevators work to take you to the next set of pipes.
Do you have to turn the switches on? Damn, this game does keep being horny, huh? Anyway, at the top you
just walk up to the lever and you're like, hey, big boy. And then it turns it on, and then you can go and ride the elevator.
Bit of titty and...
Yeah, at the top we meet
just some
Might.
underboob.
At the top we meet Might. He's sort of a Santa Claus / Willy Wonka figure. He has a bunch of Oompa Loompa Keebler Elf-ass servants, and apparently he's a big asshole to them. He says, who the fuck let you in? Apparently he and Leica go way back, though, and after some griping, he do be agreeing to make us a new flying machine. He says it'll take a long-ass time, though. We go to the top of Diane's Tower, and Galleon shows up. Nothing particularly important happened. I don't even know why you went to the top of the tower, frankly, but Galleon just shows up, and they talk, and we realize through this conversation that Galleon and Leica apparently go way back. We don't know what their history is, but, like, they clearly know each other. And Galleon's like, Leica, stop being so dumb, join me. And Leica's like, no, I've chosen my path here with Alex. So I guess they were comrades at some point in the past and had a disagreement. I don't know why Galleon doesn't just fucking murder us right now, but... Like, he could just do that, but okay.
For the same reason that supervillains never do it at the convenient time.
That's true, but I don't know. Sometimes you can make it more believable, and this was one of the clear times where I was like, he keeps being like, you'll never be more powerful enough to beat me, and I'm like, you could just kill me now so that never changes.
Well, I guess they fixed that in our version by just getting rid of the entire thing, so that...
There you go. He leaves. Galleon once again insists that we Leica insists once again that we stay true of heart and dumb of ass, etc., etc. And we go back to town. Leica splits. We notice that Tempest and Crisco are still here. We get our party members back and fill them in that Might is building us a flying machine for... Excuse me. We get our party members back and fill them in that Might is building us a flying machine for eventually.
What?
That's what I wrote.
Are you okay? Have you been all right? Do you need help?
Anyway, Mia worries about Nash. Oh, speaking of Mia worrying about Nash, here's Nash. He came back. He tells us he was playing double agent all along. he still has the helmet, and he found out a way to get to the frontier. Because in case you forgot, we don't know how to get there, or didn't until this point. We were just kind of going around spinning our wheels until we found that out. In order to get to the frontier, we got to use the teleporter that we saw earlier. But to use it, we need
that reminds me. There's not an Althena's Tower for us. We become the Dragon Master as soon as we pass all the dragon trials. So we need the airship to get to the frontier. So that's why we need it. There's no teleporter ass in our game.
Yeah, for us, we need the dragon. For us, like, we need the flying machine for, like, past the end of this week's stuff. Like, it still is not finished by the end of this week. Which, I don't even know why we do that side quest. I guess we have to, because if we didn't, then it wouldn't trigger... A lot of this game, for me this week, is just our heroes doing things, not because they have any idea that doing the things will help them in their quest, but just because they're there and they're heroes. And when people are in need, you help them. And then at the end, it ends up helping you in your quest. And it's like, cool. We didn't know this going in, but in retrospect, it's glad that it's good that we did this, because it does in fact get us closer to our goal, which we again did not know before agreeing to help you. Yeah. Anyway, it's a lot of just like, okay, I guess we're doing this now. Anyway, Nash comes back. He says that we gotta get, in order to use the teleporter, we need the Water of Mirage, which is with the Prairie Tribes that we heard about earlier. Zenobia discovered Nash's intentions to double-cross her, and he barely escaped and is gravely injured. We say that we believe him, and we trust him, and welcome him back into our party. Well, that happened. We see now that Tempest and Fago have left the town. So we make our way through a cave that leads...
Sorry, I was going to say, please tell me you've also got her name as Shasta in your notes.
Oh, that's a good idea. I'll do that one later. We make our way through a cave leading to the prairie, and on the way, we learn that more and more people are getting the deadly disease. And Shasta got it. When we get there, we learn that it's in 1993, it is not a cowboy town, but is in fact a Mongolia town, or like a Central Asia vibe. All the people are living in big yurts, and they're like very clearly yurts. So not only does Escaflowne have the disease, but so does the village elder. And then Jessica and Mia also both get the disease. Fuck. The priest's handmaiden tells us that we need to defeat the monster that's spreading the virus and get a magic item I forgot the name of. It's forbidden for people of the village to touch this item, but we're not from here, so let's go and do it. We also learned that Tempest already went to the cave to do this, even though it would be breaking the village's laws. In the dark cave, we fight enemies such as Evil Pinecone and Skeleton with Hair. We meet Tempest, Oh, and just so we're clear here, the girls have now left the party. So now we meet Tempest, and he joins our party. So we just get a real dude's rock kind of dungeon. This dungeon was really good for me. Once again, I kind of forget what was good about it. Oh, it just had a really clever. It just had a good, smart, mazy layout that was very fun to navigate. This game's dungeons this week were really good. They weren't just like another of these, which is kind of how it was last week. A boss battle. It's an Inca god. We know this because of the way it is. And also Tempest says, here comes the Inca god. Watch out. After we defeat the Inca god, we learn its name was Grimzol, and we get the goddess's seal, which is the name of the item I forgot the name of earlier. We return to Pau. Oh, wow. Way more people have the virus now. Nearly everyone in this town is lying on the ground dying of the goddamn coronavirus. Jessica and Mia are in a really bad way. Anyway, we give the seal of the goddess to the handmaiden, and she does some magic and stops the disease. However, Tempest did break the ancient village law and must be punished. He says, I accept my punishment, but please let me visit for the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air first. So he does that. Had to think of one. We go and talk with I'll just say them so I can avoid doing another pun. We go and talk with both of them, and they're happy that they're both safe and are in love, and it's very sweet. They owe us a huge debt. You might be wondering, what about Tempest breaking the laws and facing his punishment? As far as I know, he just continues being in the yurt with his girlfriend, saying thanks for helping us, and nothing happens after that. Maybe later.
Wait, are they girlfriend and boyfriend in your version? Because he specifies wife in ours.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think it was specified in any way.
This whole thing is about to be course corrected as soon as you finish, because...
Yeah. Anyway, the priest got better and draws magic water from the village well. He says, use this water and will be transported to the frontier. Finally, we pour the water into the transporter well and use it. As it did last time, it transports us into a cave dungeon. It's a really complicated maze. We work our way out and are now in the frontier. Dun dun dun. Okay, so let's go over to the year 1990. What? 7, 8?
Something.
Let's go to the future and find out what happens.
So
the distant future, the year 2000.
Exactly.
So, as I mentioned before, we're back in Tamer, and we fight Tempest, and he goes, "You're a good warrior," and he gives us a Dumaflachi, and he hands it to us, and we're like, "Hey, this looks like the Black Dragon is carved into it." He obviously knows where it is, because we just like in 1991 have no idea where the fuck we're going. Like, every person NPC we talk to is like, "I don't know. I feel it's south somewhere. I don't know. Don't actually follow this, because there's a fake out dungeon that you're supposed to do in like 40 levels. But because last week you fought bugs for 6 hours, you're a high enough level to do it, and you'll walk around and you'll get to a dead end, and it's not fucking important." But so they're like, "I don't know. It's south somewhere." So we get a clue, and we're like, we can finally go find the Black Dragon. So we go down to the Lost Woods, and it is a Lost Woods dungeon where everything loops around on itself. And if you happen on one of the dead ends that doesn't loop around yourself, and it's stupid to try and find it, if you happen to find it, you'll get a cutscene where they'll be like, "Man, we're just walking in circles. I don't know where to go." And you then go back to this campsite thing, wait for the night, and then some dudes from the town from PAL will show up and be like, "Hey, there was a secret to get through. Now you can get through, and everything is fine." It's a dumbass pixel hunt of a Lost Woods dungeon, and I hated it. But we then get to PAL, and in PAL, it's not that everyone has the coronavirus, but there is a evil songstress placing an active curse on the town, and everyone like you can hear it in town, and it is affecting people, and it is primarily affecting women in the town. Like, all the dudes are taking care of the women. So of course Mia and Jessica fall out. So we have a dude's trip with Homeboy into the cave. But that cave is the Black Dragon Fort. So we make our way through the Black Dragon Fort, which is just the spiral staircase of a dungeon. It has no gimmicks. You just walk around counter or clockwise, and you make your way through up a bunch of stairs. But when you're part way up, one of the little purpley orby mobs comes up to you, and instead of fighting you, is like, "Hey, I'm the spirit of the Black Dragon. I'm already dead." And you're like, "Well, shit. Now we can't ever be the Dragon Master." He's like, "Don't worry. My spirit is tied to the dragon armor. So here you go." And we're like, "Oh, we did it. I guess we're the Dragon Master, because we have all the stuff." And the Black Dragon's like, "No, the stuff won't work for you until you activate it. And you activate it by being true to yourself." And we're like, "What the fuck ever does that mean?" So he then is like, "I need you to go kill my body, because they're using my body for evil, and I need you to kill it." So we continue clockwise going up the stairs, and we come to the place where the Black Dragon should be, and Luna is there. She is the evil songstress that has been.
Yep.
She's the one that has been placing an evil curse on the town, and the Black Dragon is right there, and we're like, "Luna, stop," and Luna won't stop. So the Black Dragon attacks us and paralyzes us on turn 1, and we just are helpless for like 6 turns. Way too many turns. Should have been 0 turns. But should have used the battle as a cutscene like a Final Fantasy would. But no, we had to go through it 5 times. And so then we get out. We're like, there's nothing we can do. So Alex plays his ocarina, and it breaks through the brain control that Luna has. And Luna is like, oh, Alex, and that lets you then fight the Black Dragon for real. And it's a real cool, real fun boss fight. Mm-hmm. I nearly died a whole lot, and I was over leveled. It was a lot of balancing like shit to do, and loved it a whole lot. So we killed the
healers, made it real complicated in an interesting way.
And so we killed the black dragon, and then Galen shows up, and he's like, "Oh, that was cute. You thought the power of love would save Luna and all of that shit, but I'm stronger than you, and there's nothing you can do about it." So Alex then is like, "No, Luna, I love you," or whatever, is true to himself. We get an FMV of him going Super Saiyan and all of his armor turning from Tempest lookalike into Dyne lookalike, and
I thought it was
really
more Sailor
cool.
Moony.
Sailor Moon. It's very Sailor Moony, and so now he has all of the stuff. Tries to stop Galleon. Galleon still just laughs and takes Luna and goes away.
Yeah,
and
Alex starts singing "Stronger Than You" from Steven Universe, but he only gets partway through the song before Galleon's like, "Bye, fuckers."
Galleon also like resurrects the Black Dragon so they can like fly away on it. So that's a thing, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. Apparently that's one of his powers.
Yeah, and so then we make it back to the town, and everyone's safe, and we talk to the girls, and they're like, wow, that's crazy that Luna was a songstress. We really need to make our way to the frontier and stop them. And that's where we saved for the week. Sounds like you got 3 more dungeons to do. So what the fuck did you do back in Universe A?
So that's weird.
None of this is the same. This week is wild.
Yeah, we are.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Because last week we diverged a ton, but at the end it came back together. Not this time. So next week's going to be real fun. So, we finally get to the frontier. Just to catch you up, we have not even so much as seen a goddamn Black Dragon. We've just been doing some shenanigans. And now we're at the frontier. Okay. So, it looks like shit. All the trees are dead and shit. We learned that the goddess's light does not reach here, so they can barely scrape by a meager existence. There are, I shit you not, going to be 4 towns to talk about. Well,
Jesus.
I guess I didn't go to the 4th one yet. We arrive at the town of Caden. They say that they live under Galleon's tyranny, and that of Tabin, the evil inventor. Also, one of the townspeople says her husband is being forced to work as a soldier for Galleon. Actually, I should back up. Okay, so here in this town, like once you get into the inside of the frontier, Galleon has been running things here for like a decade. Like, we just learned that he was secretly the bad guy all along like a week ago. But, like, he's been an evil overlord for like 10 years. I guess just that no one ever communicates with the frontier. It's like cut off from the rest of the world. So just like no one else knew. One of the people in the town makes a sort of bit of a joke about how Galleon has now come out to the rest of the world, so to speak, which is funny because he is a gay-coded villain. So anyway, that's the deal. There's just like, it's like in Dragon Quest when you get to the end and you're just in the dark world and everything just sucks all the time. So the land doesn't produce good food, everything's dying constantly, so they scrape by a meager existence, and they live under Galleon and Tabin's tyranny. Galleon just like visits this town frequently and fucks shit up for no reason. And again, he's always kidnapping people and killing people, and there is at least one, though I believe more than one person. One of the townspeople says her husband's being forced to work as a soldier. If he doesn't do that, Galleon will kill the family. We also learned that the Black Dragon Cave is nearby, and we go. However, try as we might, it seems there's no way to get to the dragon. It just dead ends. However, we do meet an old man at the end. He says if we're seeking to become Dragon Master, we say yes. He gives us the hero's crest and says it's important. Also, Dine's sword. It nearly triples Alex's attack power, making him almost as badass as Kyle. Wow! So anyway, in town, we also learned about the Talon mine and how many people were enslaved there to mine coal and iron. But also, Taven has invented something new called steel. And in addition to his mini robot Warriors, he's working on something even bigger and scarier. That's what my note said. We go to Talon mine. Well, actually, we go to the company town surrounding the mine. This is town number 2. Everyone there says they're trapped and can't leave, and Taven pushes them all so hard that many of them die of overwork. Also, the iron that they mine is sent to the town of Ruid, and also, if we pass through the mine, we'll get to the town of Marca. So there's 2 more towns. In addition to wanting to save the people here, we also have to travel through the mine to get to the town of Marca. So we want to go to Marca for a reason that I forget. Like, it's been mentioned. We have some reason to go there. I don't remember what it is. We learned that no one can leave because of a very powerful prison guard that no one can defeat. Well, guess that's what we have to do. Also, some of the prisoners here have turned into guards and are total bootlickers. All right, mine dungeon. We meet more slaves and more bootlickers. We also learn that prisoners from the town of Berg are deeper in the mine. That's a coincidence. That's the same name as our town. We go down 1 floor, and we do indeed start running into Bergians. They're all very happy to see us and hope that we rescue them, and also Luna. We meet our mom and dad. When we tell our mom and dad about Luna being kidnapped, the dad tells us a secret. Turns out, Luna and Null were both brought to them as babies by Dine back in the day before he died. They don't know why he did it or why Null and Luna are important, but they do know that Dine must have had some reason. We finally get to the end and meet the head guard. He's in charge of all mining operations, and no one can defeat him. He also says he doesn't want to fight us, but he can't let us leave. When he's pressed, he relents and says, "Okay, I have to fight you. If I don't stop you, my family will all be killed." At this point, we realize that this is the husband of that family back in Caden. That's sad. We fight him, and it's not too hard of a fight, but after we beat him, he calls a fucking dragon tank. This boss is tough. It took me like 3 tries to beat this pair of bosses, which is a first for this game. He says, after we defeat him, he says, "By Althena, we may be strong enough to defeat Galleon after all." He says he'll set all the prisoners free and return home, but when Galleon finds out, he will surely be punished. He hopes that we can defeat Galleon before that happens and gives us his blessing. We continue on to the town of Marca. I'm also guessing that the people are now free and maybe we could go back to towns and see that people have returned home. I didn't do that though. I just continued on. We go to the town of Marca. Turns out there is a second entrance to the Black Dragon Cave here in this town, which is weird because this town is really far away from the Black Dragon Cave on the world map, but they just had whatever. In this town, we have a bunch of people tell us a piece of information that we really they tell us not for the first time, but they tell us more times a bit of information that we really should have been paying more attention to, which is that the existence of the 4 dragons causes a protective seal on the goddess Althena, and also that all 4 dragons, or that it's the power of the dragons that causes people to become dragon masters. Again, important information. Keep that in your brain. We also learn that back in the day, Dine fought the Black Dragon after it went insane, but instead of killing it, he sealed it away for this reason. We showed the village elder our hero's crest, and they led us into the shrine, below which is the tunnel leading to, the Black Dragon Cave. The cave isn't too complicated, actually, but when we get to the bottom and meet, it's the Black Dragon. It's not dead, but it is all made of skeleton bone and looks cool as fuck. We get a brand new, super epic piece of boss battle music. It's so good. This battle is hard as fuck. I mean, I guess it only took me 2 tries, but I had to think a big thunk and be real careful because he hits really hard. After we beat him, oh no! We hear Galleon's voice booming. Well, booming is a strong word for Galleon's voice, but we hear Galleon's voice all around us. He does a slow clap, which is funny because I guess he's like slow clapping in his room wherever he is, but transmitting his slow clap telepathically so that we hear it, which is for drama, I guess. He does a slow clap and tells us, very impressive, we just killed the last dragon, 1983. This the only means of becoming a dragon master. Now that we've killed all the dragons, now we can't become a dragon master, and the goddess is totally unprotected, and the world is his. He does an extremely good evil cackle. Well, maybe we should have not killed that dragon. IDK, man. Anyway, we go into the shrine and get the black dragon's armor, and that's it for the week.
What
Wild.
the actual hell? Wow.
So I'm guessing. So I'm already going to call it. Next week we're going to go through these same towns and probably the same mine dungeon, but we're going to have different goals.
Yeah.
So
probably.
I will talk about that to get us caught up through Marca, and then we'll go from there.
Good idea.
And it'll
also,
probably.
One thing I forgot to mention is that I do believe that there is some kind of. I wish I remembered this. There is some kind of foreshadowing that like Luna has been turned bad or something. That Luna has been like mind controlled or turned evil. I don't remember when that happens. It must be like an NPC or something. But that's interesting because that happened with y'all too, just in a different order.
Yeah.
I forget what it is. But Luna for us, you know, Luna was in Berg and then she was kidnapped and she's just been chilling. I do think we do have now confirmed that she is in fact in the town of Ruid. Oh, Ruid is Galleon's headquarters. It's the capital of Vector. It's a walled city. I think I didn't even try to go to it. Like I don't even know where it is on the world map. Though I probably could have looked if I'd wanted to, but I believe that you can't even get into it. So like that's where Galleon is. That's where the evil bad scientist is. That's where they're doing all their bad stuff. That's also where Luna is, and that's also where Zenobia is. Oh, also I will say at this point we have started fighting robots. The mine is full of metal robot machines, which is cool.
Nice.
So yeah, no, it is a lot different. I'm guessing next. I don't know where my goal is I don't know where I'm supposed to go next. Now that I have all the pieces of the Black Dragon, maybe I should go back to the town, the cowboy town, because maybe they're done building the flying machine, and maybe now I can go to the goddess's tower. Maybe I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, because you said that they while you're going through this, someone had mentioned that your Sailor Moon transformation is going to happen at the top of the tower. So that's what I would guess.
Yeah, I'm guessing so.
But
yeah, so we are now just completely just different the dimensions are diverging.
Seriously. Wow.
But yeah, go ahead and play some music and we'll get to our fucking mem moms.
Let's see what Negasam has for us. You can get started.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see. I guess pretty much all of this is just gonna apply to our version, I guess. But
yeah.
aside from really liking the scene where Alex plays on his ocarina and Luna hears him from far off, I loved the way that she was singing, and that was also like encouraging the other girls who had been captured. But all of the like hot evil ladies show up to like taunt them, and one of them says, "What a beautiful song," but that's all it is. Such a pathetic attempt to control their fears. And I really appreciated the way that sentiment was echoed from, because that's what, you know, what's his face asshole little dude said at the very, very beginning of the song when Althena was singing it. And it was just cool to see that echoed, and then to see Galleon show up and basically say, no, that's not actually true. And
that does remind me, Eli, your version and our version have the same script, except ours includes a whole nother villain behind the scenes named Eiffel. So if we ever bring up stuff that has to do with Eiffel, stop us and tell us what's different. That's going to be the main difference of yours, because apparently the iOS version is the PlayStation 1 version with the PSP version script plugged in, because they're almost exactly the same. But I do know that the PSP version invented this character named Eiffel to be a new bad guy towards the end. Oh, really? So
gotcha. And then you have to fight Eiffel 65.
Yes, times.
They'll sing I'm blue, da-ba-dee, da-ba-die. I don't feel like singing well. I'm so tired.
Yeah. But, yeah, because I feel this mentioned something about Eiffel this week. It's not important, but it may start getting important here towards the end of the game.
Gotcha.
But, yeah, what else do you have, Negasam?
Let's see. There was a bit where one of the Vile tribe ladies showed up after the Blue Dragon thing and said something about how Althena had banished them to the frontier, and they have a right to the life that had been taken from them when she did that, which made me wonder if this was going to end up as one of those actually, yeah, the bad guys were kind of wronged JRPGs, but I guess we'll see. So let's see. One quick... Oh, there was a monster that was a bush, and it was called an ambush. So that's good. I do have one major gameplay complaint, and that is that Mia has some very powerful AoE spells and the lowest goddamn initiative in the entire game, which basically
so
just means
for me.
Yeah, so it's just constantly oh yeah, I'm going to use this big firestorm spell to get all of these bad guys at once. But then, they all move and scatter, and by the time she actually gets to do it, most of them are dead, and the one that you targeted is on the other side of the screen from the others.
So in my game, it's a problem. Annoying. In my game, it's a problem for a different reason. My game's weird. You only have two kinds of attacks in my game, of spells. You have single attack spells where you target whoever you want, and then you have I guess you would call them AoEs, but they're very inconsistent. Some of them are just straight up, it attacks everyone on screen, all enemies. I mean. Others, it shoots ahead of you, but it's not like you can target an area and it shoots in that direction. It just you just don't get to aim it, and you just hope it hits some bad guys, and it usually does, because the bad guys are usually clustered on the left side of the screen. But it's kind of weird. But the problem with Mia and mine, her spells aren't insanely powerful, but they're pretty good. But she also has the lowest initiative ever. But in that kind of game, what does that mean? That means she should go first and hit every single enemy, thus knocking out half of their health. And then my damage dealers go in and take the other half. So my damage dealers go in and clean up, right? And it turns all these enemies from 2 hits to kill to 1 hit to kill.
Yeah.
But instead, all my attackers go and waste their 2 attacks per turn killing 1 enemy, and now I've killed half the enemies, and then Mia hits the 2 that are still left, bring them down to half health, and then next round my physical killers just kill them again. So she didn't do anything useful. It blows.
Yeah. It's very frustrating. It's one of those things where honestly the battle system has a lot of cool ideas that I really, really prefer in later games. It reminds me so much of the Trails games, except just not anywhere near as refined.
Yeah. Funny enough, I spent most of this week and frankly last week complaining about the battle system and how it's the only it's the only part of the game really that I don't love, because I think it's just it's interesting, but it's just not quite there. Funny enough, this week around, despite my complaining about Mia, it actually got a lot better. I started really enjoying it. The bosses and enemies started putting up a challenge. Other than the aforementioned Mia problem, it got pretty interesting in a couple of ways. The way that the enemies, the way that your allies move, and the way that sometimes you don't get to control what they do, because maybe you tell them to go attack one enemy, but if they kill that enemy with their first hit, their second hit, they'll kind of use their own AI to pick who they attack next. And got pretty cool, where I'm sort of like pushing my allies off in a certain direction and assuming that they're probably going to do a certain thing, and then like they do, and it feels really smart. I mean, Nash still is worthless like half the time, because if enemies aren't weak to his magic, whatever. But then he got a boomerang that made him a little bit better, and the boomerang has super long range, so he can stay out of combat. Anyway, this week around,
he's an archer in ours, which is cool.
Yeah.
Oh, neat!
You can give him staffs for extra magic or archer to make him not useless when he runs out of MP, which I started actually running out of this week because. I don't know if your game does it, but our game gives you a full heal on level up. So it's been a lot of
mine does not. Ugh, that would be great because you level up a lot in this game.
Yeah, and so mine has been a lot of like just put them on auto. They're going to waste all of their big attacks, but eventually I'll level up and I'll probably be good enough by the time of the boss.
You just sort of week you just sort of combo those level ups. I get it.
Yeah, but this week the experience curve was catching up to me, so I was running out of MP a lot more, which made the battle system better and also made Nash uses arrows a lot. And I'm like, oh hey, he was kind of strong this whole time. Maybe I shouldn't have just used magic every turn, but I'm going to.
Yeah, see, I have built up just a million of those like star lights or whatever because I've pretty much never been using them because I'm very like I don't know, I'm careful with how I use my magic. So yeah, I started running out, but I would always just give them one of those and then it was fine.
Oh, so now you're in the same position I've been the whole game, because like in my game you can buy starlights at a store,
right? Yeah.
And they're cheap, and in yours you have to find them. But now you have so many, it's just like, oh, I have infinite MP basically.
Yeah, between filling up MP on level up and also just me being, it's just always how I play these types of JRPG battle systems. I'm always very careful and methodical with how I'm doing my attacks and using my magic and stuff. So I just don't waste a lot of it, and then it it just hasn't been an issue for me, so I've got a million of them now. That's nice.
Which, speaking of the battle system, that did remind me of the thing I really came to enjoy this week is auto battle will just use AI, and the AI is comparable to a Dragon Quest. Nash almost never uses his fucking Maddie, you mentioned in your battle you just have like AoEs and there's not a lot of difference. Ours has a whole system, so you have EZ for enemy zone. It is like a group of enemies, to use Dragon Quest terms. Then you have AE for all enemies. You have AA for all allies. You have 1E, 1A for one ally, one enemy. You have OS for own self. You have AZ for attack zone. I hate it because A is all for everyone else, so it doesn't make sense, but attack zone is just a circle around you. And so EZ, an enemy zone, you want to like pick a monster that's in the middle of the cluster so it'll hit everyone around it. For some reason, the AI for Nash will never use his EZ moves, and he only got a different style move like this week. So his AI has been pretty shitty. So they give you 3 different like gambits you can set up, and on each individual person inside of those gambits, you can tell them to use AI. So I have one that's like, no, use your easy move. It's fine, Nash. Please use that. And everyone else's AI. Or I have, I'm just trying to get through. I want to kill everything in one hit. So everyone just go balls to the wall. But Jessica, keep using your AI so you'll heal if you need to. And they give you 3 different decks of gambits you can set up, plus the auto battle. It has a lot of ways to make it still engaging, where I feel like I'm doing battles, but I'm just pressing a button and like mashing through it while I'm watching TV to get through a dungeon, and it's really cool. I really like that.
Yeah, I actually discovered that system this week too, and just came up with some macros basically for when one particular pattern would do it for a situation. It's very, very useful. Yeah,
and as I was discussing on this week's Bernard Remembers, where we reviewed Final Fantasy IV 3D, I really liked that one because they let you set up gambits, but it was only one set, and you didn't have the opportunity for an AI thing. And so this one's like, you get simple gambits, 3 sets where you can break off AIs for different characters and a whole group AI, and it's a whole lot of fun ways to interact with the battle system besides going in and being granular, which is also very fun. I really enjoyed it.
Mine doesn't have most of that stuff or any of it really, but it does have one really cool thing that also later Dragon Quest like 7 will emulate to good effect, which is extremely rigorous cursor memory. So that's almost like setting up AI, because if I'm doing a boss battle where one of my characters pretty much just needs to cast the heal all spell every turn, I set her to that, and then when I'm mashing my button, she'll do it every time. Because of cursor memory. But also, like, even if you do something different, whatever, your spells aren't in a set order. It's weird. Your spells are listed in order of most recent. Which is kind of confusing sometimes, but also, like, if you're fighting a boss battle where you're digging up your lower the enemy's defense spell, which you haven't used in a while, and it's on like the second page of spells, once you cast it once, it's now at the top of your spell list. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, it was definitely pretty easy to do relatively complex things in my game without a whole lot of thinking as well. And again, because it got tougher and tougher, I would have to do more and more thinking using those aforementioned status and stat spells whence or where I previously had been largely ignoring them. I'm also having a fun issue where my heal all spell, I still only have one heal all spell, and it is not dealing with the amount of health I have now and the amount of damage enemies are doing. I have a single heal spell that is good, but like, you know, it used to just be I can just spam heal all every turn and it's fine, but now it's like, no, if enemies are focusing on one of my allies, the heal all isn't going to cut it. They're going to kill him. So I might need to like heal all, but then supplement someone else to help with healing, just for the one guy who's really taking most of the damage, kind of because Kyle's kind of a tank, but maybe not always because the enemies are unpredictable. And also the fact that Jessica is my main healer, but guess what? She's also really good at physical attacking. So yeah, and she has and she's the only one with the in my game, she's the only one with the raise your allies physical defense spell. So she's having to juggle a lot of things. So at the beginning of the Black Dragon fight, I'm like, I really need to cast the defense spell on Alex and Kyle, but I also need to make sure they don't die before I fucking do that. Anyway, it's yeah, there were some very interesting decisions I had to be making this time around, and most of which honestly was about Jessica having 3 different responsibilities piled onto her all at once, and she handled them like a champ. Anyway, that's the kind of good shit. I like that kind of shit. It's good. Oh, yeah. One way I got around this was there's a spell that only... I actually forget who has this spell. Oh, it's Jessica again. There's a spell only Jessica has, but it turns out you can buy an item in the store that does the same spell. It's the raise everyone's attack power spell, Cascade. So I bought a Cascade item and gave it to Nash. So by him using that item, now Jessica doesn't have to waste a turn to casting that spell because she's busy with other shit, right? So anyway, nice. It was cool. It was fun. Like, the game's really, like, in the last, like, 2 hours of gameplay for this week came around a lot in terms of me enjoying playing it.
Nice. I just have 2 things real quick. Both of them are blue. Both of them are pretty. One is the Blue Dragon. The other one is Fresca. But the Blue Dragon's design is like Vaporeon to the Flareons of all the other dragons. Like, all the other dragons have just been little fur babies, and the Blue Dragon is a fucking Vaporeon, and it's so pretty.
It is really pretty.
Both it's horrible. Like, I talk a lot about how the PSP version is great, but, and this is a big but, all of the dragons use dragon bone animation instead of sprite work. Ooh, so it's
fuck that shit.
Yeah. So despite being dragon bone animation, it's still real pretty. But Fresca is also really, really hot, and she's really cool, and she's seems to not put up with Tempest shit in a way, and I love her. But Eli, do you have any? We kind of went off the wall, so I don't even know if anybody talked about all their stuff, but I feel like you haven't said anything.
I mean, you all are good. I didn't write anything down this week, so because I fail at that a lot.
It's okay. It's okay. I also just talking about plot beats that were great instead of individual lines. I audibly gasped when I walked in and Luna was the evil songstress.
Same.
Like, I was
That
expecting
sounds like
it to
a big
be
fucking moment. Yeah.
Yeah, I was expecting it to be Facia, the fake Althena from earlier. I was expecting her to be important and show up and do a thing. So I was just like, oh, here we go. Gotta shake off a Zenobia and go and kill a dragon or whatever. And then it was Luna, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And it was real good. I love that shit.
It was very good. I mean, it sounds like this is one of the main differences in terms of the overall plot beats between the two versions here, is that in our version, Alex is a dragon master now. Like, that's just a thing that happened in that whole scene, and it was just a very dramatic and cool scenario. That the whole
and in mine, he's just still piddling around.
Yeah, he knows magic at least. I guess that's just not a thing in our version, but
yeah, he looks real dumb. The fucking design they landed on for the Dragon Master is the worst JRPG hero design I've ever seen.
It really is
real bad.
Like peak cringy 90s anime nonsense. It just does not look cool at all.
Not in the slightest. But
oh god,
I was hoping
he looks stupid.
Yeah,
that dumb helmet. The helmet looks so bad.
The helmet is honestly the worst. It looks more like he's going out for a hike in the snow or something.
Yeah, like I was hoping that it looked bad on Dine, and it wouldn't be so bad when it was Alex's turn. But it's almost worse.
You know, I will say,
Dine is a big beefy boy.
I will say, I can see how this design would be advantageous. I mean, it's all slanty, right? And isn't one of the main important things about armor to like deflect, like it's like deflects the sword, right? So by having that slanty head, someone goes to slash you in the head, and the sword just kind of goes and sort of slides off of you. Anyway, the point is, I do kind of respect anytime armor is practical at the expense of looking fucking stupid. I feel like that makes it loop around to being funny. It's like, no, that rules. They don't care that it looks stupid. A real hero doesn't care if he looks stupid. On the other hand, he does look stupid.
Yeah. But I hope we get Dine's sword next week, as you did, because we don't have a sword for our outfit yet.
Yeah, mine was just in a cave. There was no drama to it at all. It's not even your best sword. It's just, apparently, it's like the second or third best sword. You get a better one later. I don't know.
Wild.
Maybe Dine just dropped the sword on accident while talking to the old man when he went to the cave. Oh yeah, the old man gives us the hero's crest, but Dine's sword is just in a treasure chest next to the old man. He doesn't say like, "Here, take this." It's just there.
Honestly, that like replacing iconic gear is one of my favorite. Like, our Final Fantasy VII was the first JRPG I ever played, and even then, without any experience with the genre, I was like, isn't it kind of weird that my character, the Cloud, has this like super iconic sword, and I'm just kind of like buying a sword off some random dude in the slums and being like, yeah, cool, I'll use this instead.
It really is funny because that was the first Final Fantasy game to do the whole, which was a really big technological innovation at the time, right? Like, oh, the graphics actually change when you change your equipment. That was cool. But also, it's like,
I think the way they did it in the remake makes a little more sense.
Yes, but in this, it's like, wait, this is his famous sword. It's the sword that he has on the box art. It's the sword everyone knows him for. But you only had that sword at the very beginning of the game, and then you buy a better sword and have different swords for the rest of the game.
Yep.
Yep. But, yeah.
Is that everyone's stuff? Because I do actually have one more thing.
Go for it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, cool. I am now introducing a new segment onto the show, which of course will only happen this once because I am a guest and am only here for this. But nonetheless, new segment. This is Nega Sam's Poly Shipping Corner. I am giving all of you a graph that has awful colors because I made it from a template and I have a color deficiency, so I couldn't give it a good color scheme even if I tried. But I'm sending it to you, and this is the current cluster. That my thing is that I like characters being able to just date whoever they want, all the characters at once. So I have here a graph of all the characters with lines drawn between them as to who is dating who. Now, essentially, what I've got going on here is that most of the characters...
You've got 2 different triangles.
Yes, I essentially do. Basically, between Kyle, Jessica, Nash, and Mia, each of them are dating like... Oh, no, sorry. Jessica and Nash are dating 3... Okay, this is weird to explain. Basically, Nash and Mia, Jessica and Kyle, Alex and Luna. Those are all the like canon romances, right? But I also have Nash and Jessica because I feel like they would get on each other's nerves a lot, and that would be a lot of fun. I have Jessica and Mia because I feel like they're different approaches to like their religious settings. Basically, would be very, very interesting and fun to explore. I also have Nash and Kyle for the same reason I have Nash and Jessica. I feel like they would hate each other, and it would be very funny.
That's a total black rom.
I really like your polycule. I think it's a good idea.
Well, but then there was a weird thing. There was a weird thing too, where Alex and Luna, I could not ship with anyone else, and I think that the reason for that is essentially that Alex was a silent protagonist in the original version, and while he does have dialogue here, his chemistry with the rest of the cast is still not all that strong. And similar to Luna, since she in the original was sort of like taken away, and in this one eventually still is, the chemistry with the rest of the cast isn't super there. So those two I still just have on their own. But Kyle, Jessica, Nash, and Mia, they're all dating each other except for Mia and Kyle, basically. And
which I find very funny. Yeah, like every combination is there, except so basically they're all just one giant lump, except that Mia and Kyle don't have a line between each other, which is funny.
And that Alex and Luna aren't dating anyone there. But see, that's the thing, is this is what I mean, like I've been watching I've been rewatching Sailor Moon episodes sometimes. All of the Sailor Scouts are dating it, like as far as I am concerned. They're all in love, and it's very obvious.
They're one big fucking poly ship. It's great. That's one of the best things about Sailor Moon.
It's actually canon too. In the manga, there's a whole big thing where it's like, oh no, we don't have any boyfriends or girlfriends. Our girlfriend is Princess Serenity.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that so much. Like, actually,
in Stars, and there was a whole big thing in the Sailor Moon community ages ago where because Sailor Stars didn't come over for a long time, and so people just had like scanlations. And there's a panel in the Stars manga where Rei and Minako, who are Mars and Venus respectively, are talking to the Starlights, and they're saying what Sam said: we don't have boyfriends because there's only one person who we truly love. But a lot of people took that as Rei and Minako are a couple. But like, there's a picture of Serenity right after it. So clearly they're referring to Sailor Moon. But regardless, like, they're all dating each other.
Wait, so Sailor Moon is actually a harem anime?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's one of the earliest all-girl harem animes. Mamoru doesn't count.
Right.
But
I mean, he could be there too, that's,
and I mean,
that works.
the 3 outer senshi, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, are essentially a poly ship. Like, Pluto lives with, or Setsuna lives with Haruka and Michiru, and they all raise Hotaru together, and Hotaru calls Setsuna and Michiru mama, and she calls Haruka papa.
All right.
So fun. they have their own poly ship, and they have a kid.
Oh,
nice.
All right.
The funny thing, Nega Sam, about the graph that you made is that functionally, Luna's not actually in the party because she got kidnapped. So functionally, it's just 5
That's
people
fair.
where 4 of them are all in this giant polycule, and Alex is just like, hey guys. And what makes that funny to me is that is exactly my relationship with my friend group. No, really, like, I have 4 close friends, and it was 3 and now it's 4, and they have all this stuff going on with them, and it's sort of constantly shifting and sometimes has drama, and I'm just sitting here like, hey guys, sometimes all 5 of us hang out together, and there's just a lot of energy going in different directions. And meanwhile, I'm just vibing, and I'm like, so are we playing this board game or what? Are we gonna watch a movie or something? How are y'all doing?
Oh no!
It is. I am Alex, and the other 4 of them are the 4 of these people at all times.
That's very good.
Yeah. So I empathize with Alex. Actually, it makes sense because just like Alex, my girlfriend is far away. And that's why, right?
Oh,
it's just like, I'm basically in a monog thing with my girlfriend, so it's just like, y'all do your thing. I'll just be over here on the couch.
Yeah.
Anybody want
Great.
coffee?
Well, I will make sure. I will make sure to update if any of this changes, or for that matter, like I have thus far found no reason to include some of the temporary characters, such as Ramus and the
Cowboys.
the tornado and what's her face.
Oh, actually,
the
I forgot to say I do have a modification.
Tornado
Sorry,
and RC Cola.
I actually forgot. I would modify this slightly. I would. Let's see. I can't think of any lines I would erase, but I would actually add a line between Kyle and Alex. I think Kyle just has that magnetism. I think he probably just dates every single person except for
Mia.
Except for 2 of the 3 girls, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine Mia or Luna would
they have
get along well enough with Kyle for that.
Yeah, I think if you added, basically, I think if you add any other male characters, they would all need a line drawn to Kyle. This just has that vibe.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just has that vibe.
I could see that for sure. Oh, I also didn't include Null for what I think are fairly obvious reasons.
Null has a unidirectional line to all the ladies.
Yes.
But yeah, so I will update this if it changes. But this has been Nega Sam's Poly Shipping Corner.
I'll try and keep it up in your honor, in your memory.
Cool,
Nice.
You know, once you die, because once you leave the podcast.
Meanwhile, me and Sam will be over here utilizing the quadrant Homestart quadrant system.
Yes. And we will spend 600 pages of our webcomic to describe it. But this week we did get 3 new walls of text from Nameless in the Discord. Shout outs to Nameless. Most of it is a lot of fun facts. I highly recommend going in. First off, join the Discord. We're nice there. Secondly, join the Discord so you can read these, because I'm not going to read all of them. I'm just going to pick out my favorite tidbit. As a person who's been dropping music into these, the remakes completely just like did away with the Sega CD thing. But the Sega CD music, so they don't really match up whatsoever, except the song for the cutscene "A Trinity of Terror," where we meet all of the Zenobians or whatever. It plays the song "Vile Tribe" from the Sega CD. It's the only track that shows up.
It's a great track.
And Nameless thinks that it might be one that Working Designs made, because it's during one of their cutscenes and stuff, and it's pretty cool because that's the only time it lines up. And I did not pick that song as one of the ones where I tried to line it up for week 1. I should have, but yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. He also put in a correction: the Japanese voice actors changed when the Saturn version came around and have been consistent ever since for all of the other remakes. The Sega CD last week he had said that they were different in every remake, but it's not true. Meanwhile, in America, the Working Designs cast is consistent between both of their releases, but the Xseed cast is different. He said, except for one character, but that's a spoiler, so we'll get around to that, I guess. But yeah, shout outs to Nameless for checking us out and giving us lots of cool ass corrections. He also dropped a link to the Korean version of the boat scene, because there was a PC release of this game, but only in Japan and South Korea, but the Korean version uses the Working Designs audio files instead of the Japanese audio files. So this is the only HD footage of the boat scene. So go and watch it because it's in HD and it's beautiful and the colors pop better than they do on the version I have. But yeah, it's cool as shit. Other than that, as we discussed in the break, we will be stopping prior to anything important happening in the Grindery. So whether that's before entering or right after entering, who knows? Well, because we're not there yet. But next week will basically be real short because Maddie's already played most of it because of the timing of the Black Dragon there. So we'll basically just play catch up. And stop before the Grindery, and then the Grindery to the end of the game will be our last week, which then means we are now 2 weeks away from the end. So it is time to put up a voting page over on our website, and the 2 games that you can vote from. So first, I want to say the theme of this block. The theme is famous Western RPG designers played Final Fantasy VII, really liked it, said, I want to do that. So you have a bunch of DNA of Doom and Fallout, etc., but also a lot of Final Fantasy VII, and the combinations thereof are weird. And the Steam pages for both of these games is every single positive says this is the best game I've ever played, and every single negative says why did this get made? It is unplayable trash. So sorry to Eli.
Oh boy.
Thanks, I already hate it.
Maybe in a surprise twist, Eli will be the only one who likes it.
Yeah, because
that would be
because Eli does play WoW, which has a lot of Diablo and Fallout in it as well. So maybe the shitty things will be shitty things that Eli likes instead of 3D platforming. So the 2 games are Septerra Core: Legacy of the Creator by Valkyrie Studios.
That's sure is a title, huh?
Which has it has music by Marty O'Donnell himself.
Oh hell yes!
Shout outs to Marty O'Donnell. The other one, so we said that Square Enix was dead and we weren't going to play Square Enix. I found out today that we're slightly lying because Square Enix in the 2000s bought up a whole bunch of global companies, including IDOS. So this is an IDOS game. Square Enix did not buy this company for like 10 years after this game came out. However, if you buy the game now, you are technically giving money to Square Enix. So had to be full disclosure. We're sort of breaking our own rule of the Square Enix ban, but
Eidos makes way too many games. Eidos. I mean, Eidos does so many games. They're just a publisher. You know, Eidos actually published the PC versions of Final Fantasy 7 and 8 in the 90s. Whatever.
Time is a flat circle.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, Tomb Raider is not a Squaresoft game, right? Like, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I just didn't want when you guys go to buy it on Steam and you see that it's a Square Enix game, I don't want you to come for me because this doesn't count. But the game is Anachronox. It is made by Ion Storm. The main director is Tom Hall. It is made in the Tom Hall. He worked on Doom and Commander Keen. He is a big ol' Western developer who really liked Final Fantasy VII and Chrono Trigger, so he made his own. And it's real cool because the big like technological wonder that it did is it added facial expressions. So the characters are going to be super emotive in the Quake 2 engine, which is going to be weird.
That's cool,
but it's real cool. And I'm real excited for it. Both of these, when they go on sale, which they probably will anytime now for Black Friday, are less than $1. They're like 79 cents, 99 cents when they go on sale. So buy both of them. And yeah, you can vote on which one you want us to play. you're basically voting between Halo music and Doom music, because other than that,
like,
you probably have no idea.
How can you even decide? Like, Christ,
right? But yeah, this is what I designed the podcast for. Is I wanted to play some weird ass shit that nobody else has ever played, and I tricked you over 3 years into joining me on this. So now we have to play one of these games, and I'm real excited to see which one you guys pick.
Anachronauts, so I'll say Anachronauts has been on my list for like a decade. I just have never gotten around to it. Septericor, though, I'd never heard of until Sam told me about it. So I don't even know which one I'm pulling for here. I don't know much about either of them.
Yeah, I really have no idea. They both just seem to be singular and weird, despite being almost the exact same thing, like genre-y. But if you want to vote on either of those, you can go to www.rpgbook.club, toss us some ducats. By the time you hear this, there will be a link up for you to go and vote and tell us which one you want us to play. But other than that, I think we're done. So for RPG Book Club, I have been Sam Allman.
I'm Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
I am Maddie Grace Swebin.
And I am Nega Sam, 2 weeks out from taking Sam's place.
Yes.
He's going to vor Sam.
Yes.
Oh, God.
But it's okay. He's not going to eat me. He's not going to eat me. He's going to vor me, so I'll be safe inside of his tum-tum.
Oh, actually, that reminds me.
You've all turned this around on me. I feel very uncomfortable now.
Well, see, that's the thing. Something I've learned is if you ever want someone to not do something to you, just make it a horny thing, and then they're not going to want to do it anymore.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So, like, imagine
that definitely does not always work on me, but make it a horny vor thing, and
imagine a cannibal comes at you, and they're like, "I'm going to cook you and eat you," and you're like, "Oh, please do that, Daddy." And now they're like, "Well, now I don't want to." Now it's weird. You had to go make it weird. That's just a little life tip for you. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Was really good. After last week was kind of just like, hey, remember in JRPGs where you have to go around and do all the quests? This week it was like, hey, you want some like plot development? Because here you go.
Ironically, I felt the opposite. I still enjoyed this week, but given that my game is a lot more old school, my game is a lot better at going around and exploring and not as good at pulling off effective plot drama. A lot of its dramatic moments, like, they were still pretty good, but they fell a little flat, right? Like, if you were to compare them directly with like Final Fantasy IV, you'd be like, yeah, they definitely aren't using as effective as like storytelling techniques as like FF4, even though they're doing similar things, right? Still enjoyed it, but last week has been my favorite week so far, actually.
Nice.